Not only do we have a long name, we have a tongue twister of abbreviation of our name, which is great. But I am Brooks Harkin. I'm the Chief Business Officer with the Association for the Blind of South Carolina, or ABVI SC for short. Thank you all so much for having me today, just to go over a little bit of what we do at our organization, the partnerships that we have, and to bring awareness to vision loss within our state and nationally. For those who may not be able to see the screen, I will provide a description of what is projected. Sorry, I'm making sure I have all my slides in order. So we have been around since 1936. Our mission is to enrich the quality of life for the blind and visually impaired. And our vision is for all individuals with vision loss to have the opportunity to live, learn, and earn. We know that vision loss is a healthcare crisis. It is not only happening in our state, but it is nationally. And so we are trying to do what we can to help bridge that and to help bring awareness to the need of services within our state.
When someone loses their vision, they come to ABVI to learn skills needed to live safely and independently. It's called vision rehabilitation. We teach them adaptive ways to navigate their entire day, including daily tasks most of us take for granted: how to brush their teeth, how to navigate their community with a white cane, and how to use a mobile device without vision. When you partner with ABVI, you make it possible for someone to live, learn, and earn with vision loss.
So while that video might seem like sunshine and rainbows a little bit, as I mentioned at the beginning, this isn't. It's a healthcare crisis. And so we have vision rehabilitation training tools such as those that you saw in the video. I'm not sure if anyone noticed, but for an example was the toothbrush was held backwards. That is so an individual who's going through training does not get toothpaste all over themselves. When you would normally hold at the end, you hold at the top. Those are just some of the skills. Same with scanning. A device scanned the can of beans. That's reading something to you, so it's not just read, since that individual was experiencing vision loss. Can't reach my arrow, sorry. So the need. So this is actually an employee of ABVI, Kimberly, as she is walking across the street with her guide dog, Fonzie. The need for vision rehabilitation is huge. To put it in perspective, they say that actually on average 12.5 million individuals over the age of 40 experience vision loss, and that number is actually supposed to double in the next decade. In the Tri-County alone, Berkeley, Charleston, Dorchester, there are 15 to 20,000 individuals living with visual impairment. And in Spartanburg, Greenville, they say that that number is pretty equivalent to that as well. So we are working to get more data on that in other parts of the state. But we know that by that number, that the amount of individuals who need our services is huge. It is also more likely that someone with a visual impairment is going to experience poverty, isolation, or depression than someone without a visual impairment. What I just said. There we go. So this is an older Black male using assistive technology on his phone. So this actually is a client of ours, and I want to share a client story about Tony. Tony came to us several years ago, right after COVID, after losing his vision to diabetic retinopathy. He was very active within his community. He wanted to continue that. He wanted to be able to provide groceries for his family. He wanted to exercise. He wanted to stay healthy. And with coming with his vision loss, he realized quickly that he was unable to do that. So he actually became depressed and isolated, which is when he reached out to his doctor, who then in turn referred to us. And Tony's story is not unique in any way. We partnered in 2022 with Vision Serve Alliance, which is a national organization, and the Ohio State University to provide data in our field. It is known throughout our field in vision that there is lack of data behind it. It's hard to get actual statistics, and make that, even though we're in a healthcare crisis, make that a priority. So through this, there were 3 phases to this project. The first one was 65 and older. The second phase was 18 to 64, and the phase 3 will be birth to 17. And again, that is nationally and statewide. So we'll be able to finally have the data for us, which has never existed in our country and our field. So on this slide, there are 3 different statistics. There's chronic conditions, health-related quality of life, and disability status. And so you'll see that number is drastically different between vision loss and no vision loss, especially with some of the chronic conditions of diabetes, heart attack, and stroke. And then also with other health-related conditions, mental distress, limitations of activity. Those numbers really are different. It is actually said that someone over 65 is 87% more likely to have a stroke than someone without vision loss, and then 60% more likely to be depressed. So what we have, by providing this data, what we have come to understand is that health-related quality of life is related very closely to vision loss, including poor health and physical limitations, such as taking your medication to make sure that your diabetes is managed properly, things like that. That's where our vision rehabilitation steps in. So just so you kind of understand a little bit also of what is covered, and I'll go into that in another, in a minute, but seniors over the age of 65 with vision loss are twice as likely to fall as people without vision loss. And then at the bottom of the screen is what the total medical cost for non-fatal paid by Medicare was in total was 670 million in the US, or in South Carolina. I'm so sorry. So next is kind of what VR is for all. So within our state, there are actually, or in our country, excuse me, there are 3,800 individuals that provide our training. All of our instructors on staff are certified vision rehabilitation specialists. So that means that they might be orientation and mobility or white cane. They might be low vision experts. They might be teachers of the visually impaired. That number is drastically dropping because of the retirement rate. And that those that are going through schooling is not matching up to those that are retiring at the same time. So it's important for us to ensure that we're teaching our clients skills from a certified professional, but it's hard in our field to know that just in the Tri-County alone, there's 20,000 individuals, and nationally there are 3,800 that can provide those services. That number is very different. So over the years, somehow vision has turned into something that is not considered important by insurance, which is wild. So if anyone lost their vision or a loved one lost their vision in this room, does anyone know kind of what your first step would be if someone feels comfortable saying it? Probably not. Usually no one usually knows where to start. So for us, typically a doctor will refer. We want to make sure that we prioritize our awareness and get in front of doctors, community partners within our state so that everyone knows who we are and what we can do. It's important for us to have community partnerships to provide grants to help with the funding. One of our community partners is actually in the room today with Blind Vision Services. So having these partnerships allows us to be able to highlight our services in areas that might be unknown. With vision insurance, because you're probably thinking, wait, I have vision insurance. That's got to cover something. Vision insurance actually covers one eye exam. And if you get qualified for OT, occupational therapy, which I'll go into, you get 5 visits unless it is considered an exception. So if you lost your vision, you got an eye exam, and you got 5 visits to change your life. It's wild. That's where we come in. Another thing not covered by insurance is equipment. So is you often see someone with visual impairment might have a white cane. White cane is not covered. If you fall and a walker, that might be covered. White cane, considered both the same to be able to independently travel, is not covered. So we provide funding that is grant-based and then also through our low vision occupational therapy. We do have a state partnership with our South Carolina Commission for the Blind, some of y'all might be familiar with them. But through a workforce development program, WIOA, they actually earmark most of their funding towards those that want to rejoin the workplace. And I know for me and many of our clients who've lost their vision, if you lose your vision, you're not ready to jump back in. You need time to adapt. For those that aren't ready to work, the federal government gives you $3 per person. 3. That does not cover anything. Doesn't actually even cover bump dots. So part of Tony's story, to go back after hearing all of that information, is that when Tony came to us, he was depressed and isolated. Not only was he feeling these emotions, but his family was. His family went from having a support person, someone that did a lot for them, to feeling that they had to care and learn a whole different way of life. So that's part of our journey as well, is to help them adapt, help the family adapt, as well as the client. So for Tony, he started doing white cane training. We provide, based on grants, we're able to provide white canes to individuals, and then we do the training. So he learned training to navigate transportation, public transportation in Charleston County. He learned to use his mobile device in a grocery store to scan items. And then he also learned how to use a medication management program called Script Talk, which is actually provided legally by nationally to everyone, as long as you ask your drugstore for it. And so now he's able to grocery shop. He takes the bus. He takes his kids to the bus stop every day for school. And he noticed a significant increase in his depression. He actually was able to, by using his prescription management, get his diabetes and cholesterol under control, which was a huge high risk where he was. So Better Together, that is our new slogan. In 2023, we merged with an agency in Columbia called the Vision Institute. The Vision Institute was primarily serving children. We were primarily serving adults statewide, and we realized that we were better together. There is not enough people in our field. There is not enough people not in our field that are working for ABVI and community partners that allows us to be able to do what we do. So we offer comprehensive vision rehabilitation to anyone in our state. We currently serve 39 out of 46 counties. We also can serve in person, in home, in a medical field, or Zoom. So a lot of our technology, especially after COVID, has allowed us to be able to provide trainings via Zoom for webinars, or to allow family members to participate as well. So when a client comes to us, they actually meet first with a client services specialist. And the point of that is not for them to determine what the individual needs, but for the individual to understand what we have. Vision loss, when you get that diagnosis, is a lot. It takes a moment to process. We want to be there the second you get that, but we also want to understand and acknowledge that you may need some time to adjust to that diagnosis. So when you come to us, a client will receive an overview of our services that are listed on the screen. I'll go through each of them. And then they meet with a certified vision rehabilitation screener. That screener sits down and talks through what goals that individual has. I previously was in programs before my current role, and one question I would always ask the individual, or get asked by the individual, is what can I do? And I would immediately turn that back and say, what do you want to do? Because you're not coming to us for us to tell you what to do. You're coming to us for you to tell us what you want to do and how do we fix that? How do we help you get to that? So some of our trainings include activities of daily living, and that is something as simple as brushing your teeth, taking medication, picking out clothes that match. We also offer adjustment counseling. So we have different therapeutic services in partnership. So we offer group and individual counseling, as well as art therapy through the Medical University of South Carolina. We offer assistive technology and computer training. Assistive technology using your mobile devices. Apple has great products that you can use that are already built in. But then also understanding what apps are out there. There's an app called Be My Eyes. Some people may be familiar with it. It's a volunteer-based app. So it's kind of like if you were to FaceTime someone on this app and we have clients, I love it. I love when our clients do it. Will call me and they'll put their phone up to their fridge and ask me when their milk expired. Or if they live alone, which prescription are they supposed to take? So there are different apps that we try to teach our clients to be able to use to be more independent. Braille and Braille transcriptions, we offer grade 1 and grade 2 of Braille. Computer training, like I mentioned. I Can Connect is a deaf-blind program that we offer that is federally funded. Occupational therapy for low vision is the medical-based program. So you have to have a separate referral. We bill through insurance. Again, you're somewhat limited on what insurance will pay for, especially depending on what your insurance is. So if someone doesn't qualify, we still offer all the same programs for them without charging any costs, so that someone doesn't feel that they're out of training opportunities if they don't have insurance coverage. Orientation mobility training is white cane training. So navigating safely from point A to point B. That could be in your home, that could be going to the street to check your mailbox, that could be going to the grocery store on your own. Whatever an individual feels that they want to do to be more independent, we help them guide with white cane training. And then vocational rehabilitation, so soft skills training. This is where we partner with our state agency because that's where they have majority of their funding. So anyone that might be particularly wanting to come to our office or they've already received training, we might continue that training with that. We also offer a guide dog scholarship program as well for individuals who are clients of ours that have a guide dog. We help offset some of those costs. To obtain a guide dog can be close to $75,000. And so we try to help offset some of those costs for an individual that has been able to get a guide dog. So this is some of our numbers from 2023 and 2024 for adults. We served, like I said, 39 counties, and the number of clients served is 673. We break our numbers down by regions. So here in the upstate, we just started, mind you, in 2023, the merge. So primarily you're gonna see that number's high in the low country, and that's because we served only half the year for the most part in the upstate, PD, and Midlands region. That number has already, we are actually equivalent pretty much where we are right now this year. Of all 4 regions are about the same, so the need is there. And then the number of service hours is almost 4,000 that our instructors put together. So with our merge, we started offering children's services. And so we have 3 different programs, 2 which just started. We have school-based services, which is put together with an IEP with the school. So the school determines what needs are based from the individual, and then we work with the individual and the school to ensure that they have the training that they need. So we're not the teachers that are teaching them, we're teaching them the tools they need to be able to understand what they're learning with their classmates. So our students are in the classroom with their teachers. We do come in and maybe teach orientation and mobility, but it's also making sure awareness and understanding for the classmates as well. We just started a DOTS and TOTS program, the name, and that is for awareness and understanding for parents under the age of 5, with children under the age of 5, to understand and to learn about what the vision loss means. Where do they go? Again, imagine having a newborn and then also understanding that they've lost their vision. It's a crazy place to start. So we want to make sure that there are tools available that you can learn different school services, training services that we have to ensure that your child adapts into a normal life. And then our select program is a transition age program for youth to be able to kind of do daily tasks that their friends might be doing. We just hosted a makeup and me event last month, and it was right before the holidays, and we had I think 10 young ladies in our Midlands office that came. We had makeup stations all set up, and then we had instructors that taught them how to line to put on lipstick, how to put your finger up to your cheek to put on blush. Things that, to be honest, are in videos that I've learned, but it's something that's making everyone feel more comfortable coming together. And so on the screen, we do have 2 children that are learning in the school districts. So I wanted to save a lot of time for questions because to me, whenever I do a presentation, it seems that it can oftentimes be a lot of information. And I personally like to engage more when I talk to make sure that there are questions answered. How can we help? How can we continue our services. Maybe someone in the room knows someone who's not receiving enough services. We do have 3 office locations, which I've listed on the screen. Our Low Country office in Charleston, our Midlands in Irmo, and then our upstate office here in Greenville, which we are very excited about. We just opened at the end of last year. And my contact information's on the screen as well. And so, again, all of our partnerships is really how that we develop and maintain our services. And so without y'all, we wouldn't be able to continue to do what we do. So with that, I would love to take any questions that anyone might have. Yes, ma'am.
You might have answered it, I'm not sure. When you said that the rate of blindness is increasing, is that due to diabetes alone or why is that?
There are multiple reasons. Awareness is the main factor. There is not an acknowledgement that vision loss is the healthcare crisis. And as I mentioned, there's no insurance coverage, minimal insurance coverage. So for someone that might be going through diabetes and has a vision loss or potential vision loss, there's no management tools that can be given to them through their insurance. And so that awareness piece is lacking, that they don't know who to reach out to. And so unfortunately, that diagnosis may continue to get worse. Where for us, if someone comes to us, that's one of the questions we ask. We also, when we have a client reaching out to us, we ask what other medical disabilities do you have and medical hindrances do you have? And that's not to call attention to something, but that's to work together with it. So if someone has glaucoma, we want to make sure that they understand, the pressures might be changing and that's something that can be affected. Or if they have diabetic retinopathy, managing your diabetes is something that can help with that. So we want to make sure that we maintain it. So to your point, it's a lot of lack of understanding of what's out there and then what is covered.
If someone start to get involved, do they call you and our sunrise usually time? So there's some things that you could be helped with. What do you call it?
First, what's the steps? So I guess there's 2. So one, if an individual meets with a doctor, my role in the organization is to meet with doctors statewide. We want to be the first call that a patient makes right after they leave the doctor's office. We want the doctor, I have brought pamphlets that doctors will receive so that if anyone wants them, that they can hand to an individual who's just been diagnosed with vision loss. So that's one track. The second track is the awareness of us being out there. If you receive a diagnosis and maybe the doctor hasn't heard of us yet, you call us, we get you set up in our system. It's as easy as a doctor's form and a couple of demographic questions. We try to make it easy because again, you've just experienced a heartache. You just, have to now factor in what you're going to do with your, daily life. How are you going to function? And we don't want to add more pressure to that. So we make it as simple as possible. You'll meet with a client services specialist to figure out which track is best for you. And then from that, you'll meet with the screener and start services. And a lot of times I do like to mention with services, I think with insurance, a lot of times someone finishes a program and you kind of say bye. With vision loss, there's always something that you can be working on. So if an individual comes to us and says, I want to learn how to go to the grocery store, great. White cane training, orientation mobility. When that person achieves that goal, they may have a goal that they want to be able to use assistive technology in the store. Sometimes we'll do those simultaneously, but most time we try to focus on one at a time. So the individual will then move to another training. And a lot of our clients are reoccurring clients that attend different sessions that we have each year. Maybe not individual trainings, but sessions so that they keep up to date on new technology, new trainings, things like that. Any other questions? Yeah.
When you say insurance doesn't cover it, so this isn't considered like medically necessary with somebody that?
No. It's not. So insurance, like I said, covers an eye exam. Some cover glasses, some do not. So we do have a program that allows us to pay for glasses if someone's insurance does not cover it, but they do not find it somehow medically necessary for any of these tools. And so that is where we really work with our grantors and our donors so that they understand the importance of what we're doing. Because if we were to go away and our community partners were to go away that's providing the services, there is no one providing that service besides our state. And as I mentioned, our state is earmarked more towards workforce development than personal enrichment.
I have a question. This is, why is the cost for a dog for vision 75,000?
Why is it so expensive?
Yeah.
So, typically for someone to go through, you'll probably see guide dog puppy trainers, is what they call, around. And so an individual will go up, there are guide dog schools around our country. I think the closest, we have one in Florida, I believe. Most of our clients have actually gone to New York. So you actually have to go up there to do a 4-week training with that dog. You might get placed with them. Hopefully you do. There are times that a dog does not fit and they'll get trained again. The upkeep of a dog. So for a dog to be able to do certain training, that's what you're paying for essentially. Because when they go into the real world, they have to be able to turn out everything. Most guide dogs actually have a fake name, so that they're not easily distracted in public. And then keeping a dog, most of our dogs have specialty food, specialty medication, because a working dog's life is shorter than a non-working dog's life. And so you're wanting to continuously pay for the upkeep of your dog. Yes, sir.
I've had a facility dog for a number of years, and it's a 2-year process to just do a service dog.
Mhm.
It's more than that to do a seeing eye dog, and my understanding is somewhere close to half of them, once they finish the training, don't actually G-haw to the person that needs the dog. They
Yeah.
start leaving.
It's, yeah, I try to make it a little bit sugar. Yes, it is a long wait list. We provide the orientation mobility. So when an individual is requesting a guide dog, it's not a program that we offer. We provide some assistance if we can financially, but it's not the actual program. It's not ABVI's. But we do help with orientation mobility. So an individual has to have mobility training in order to go safely to one of those schools. So if they are relying on a loved one, they're not able to go to that school yet. You have to be independently able to travel so that they can successfully match you with a dog. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you offer services to try to find work for blind.
To try to find work. So that's where we really partner with our state they have a lot of different workforce development programs. I know in Charleston, there are several different kind of job placement areas. I'm sure that is all over the state, don't get me wrong. So what they have is set up with kind of where you want to go, what type of job you are looking for. Then they also have a business enterprise program. And so that is many of our rest areas in our state, all the vending machines are actually run by individuals with vision loss. It's a independent business that they can own to create a successful life for themselves, which is incredible. And so through that business enterprise program, there might be an avenue from that. Or if you're interested in, we've had individuals, we have someone that's a lawyer that lost their vision, went back to work. We have individuals that have started working in hospitality. We have 2 that work in the hotel industry, 2 that are in medical. So it's really kind of what the need is. We try to help if we can, but really we understand that our state has better resources for that.
By state, do you mean commission for the blind?
Yes, ma'am, Commission for the Blind, sorry. Because our names are so similar, Commission for the Blind, Association for the Blind, I typically will say state agency, but yes, the commission. Any other questions? We're so appreciative. Oh, yes.
What's the education for the therapists that you consider certified?
Our vision professionals. So there's different avenues. So our teachers of the visually impaired typically will have their education background and then get their master's or a certificate program for teaching the visually impaired. Our vision rehab professionals, which are low vision therapists, vision rehabilitation therapists, and occupational or orientation mobility therapists, are all certified through ACVREP, and it's a accreditation program that is 2 to 3 years that you have to have a mentorship with after you graduated with your master's. So it's a continuation, it's continuing education. A lot of times it's very costly, and it's time consuming. So while the need is there, someone might not be able to complete that training. So there are 2 different tracks, and then obviously occupational therapy is medical based, as I mentioned. So that individual will have to go to get their degree in OT and then add on through ACVREP a second certificate, a lot of times through low vision.
Would you get, what schools do you partner with to help someone receive that?
So there's different ones. We're actually hoping to work through something in our state. We just started with USC Upstate, just started an occupational therapy program with one of our chief program officers. They're in their initial year. And so we have, I believe there are 5 individuals going through that program. Salis University is another one where we have a lot of our clients, our professionals from, but it's depending on what is offered. So with ACVREP, that is sometimes can be more online and go through agencies. So for example, once you've completed the schooling, then you get matched and they have to follow another low vision occupational therapist or another low vision or vision rehab therapist, and you have to do a certain amount of hours. And then each year you do have to keep up with those hours as well for recertification. Any other questions? Yes.
How much are white cans? I'm just curious.
So there is a program through the National Federation for the Blind that offers a free white cane. It's not one that folds. So when our O&M specialists teach training, they specifically will fit you for a cane. We like ones that split into 3s because of making sure that it can go with you wherever you go. Typically the ones that we purchase for our clients are between $45 to $65. And then we all, I know, we're working.
I thought you were gonna say a few hundred. That just blows my mind.
Yeah, that's why I think it is kind of surprising is the cost of it. A white cane does have to be kind of updated, at least the tip. So there's different tips. Most of our clients use a marshmallow or a roller tip. Those have to be upgraded at least once a year, depending on how often you're using it. Those can cost about $20. So yearly you might have $100 or so with all of that. But the other problem with ordering online is someone might not know the size that they need. And so you might see someone that has a cane that's taller than them or comes to their waist. And so we want to make sure it's always supposed to hit you right at your chest. And so that's another piece of our O&M training is the fitting of the cane. If you know of any way to get part of that, we'd love it. Is there any other questions?
What kind of volunteering help do you?
Yes, thank you. That is the other part of my role. I can't believe I forgot that. So we have different volunteer opportunities. In all honesty, we have more in our low country region, and that is just because that's where before our merge, where our primary office was located. We are hoping in the next 2 months to have a client-based luncheon in Greenville. I'm working to put that together with about 100 clients that we would have. We just hosted one in Charleston that clients come, engage with each other, meet friends, meet family members can come and join. Again, I'm hoping for that to be in March, April. That information I can, of course, see how I can get that sent out afterwards. We do offer or have a fundraiser every year called Noir. It's March 8th this year in the Low Country, and guests come and enjoy the main course blindfolded. So they get a glimpse for a brief moment of what our clients go through on a daily basis. And so we have instructors that come and our food will be placed at the meat 6 o'clock, the vegetables at 3 o'clock, so that there's a clock method so that the guests can kind of understand what the training is like. And then we do have hopefully some different opportunities for children's services. We're still working through that since it is a little bit newer of a program. But if you're interested, I'm happy to get your information. I can send you some updates. Yeah.
What counties are you still trying to get into? You said you were in 38 or 39?
I can pull up that map for you as soon as I finish. Yes, it's a little bit of the smaller ones. Marion, we're not in. I know Marion, I don't know why that's the one sticking out to me, but I can get you the list of the ones that we're not in. And that's hoping that, you know, even if maybe it's a virtual service that we can get to. Our focus really for the next 2 years is on the 95 corridor. To where there's not as many resources available, we're really trying to use funding that allows us to reach individuals in, along that corridor. All right. Thank you all very much for having me. I did bring some swag because I like swag and I order it for ABVI. So I do have different swag for everyone, hand sanitizer, chopsticks, things like that, but also booklets that we hand out to our clients and to doctors. So if anyone's interested in this, just take a peek. You're welcome to take any of that home. But I appreciate y'all today so much. And if you have any questions, my information's up there and business cards. So thank y'all so much.